Heaven's Journey to Life. God created ego, day 15. Here we're continuing the creation of ourselves within the context of God and the devil, as walked within Judgment Day, day 14, with God as life, live, as the manifestation of and as equality and oneness, devil, the reverse of and as live, as evil, as a manifestation of ourselves, as consequence, within separation, as we accepted and allowed ourselves to abdicate ourselves as God life, through by the moment of and as separation of ourselves into and as singularity from the whole, as the act of judgment of ourselves and all as ourselves. From that moment, incarnating into existence as the devil, the fall of self as God, and set forth the creation of hell, with hell as the friction of as separation that we created through judgment, manifested as relationship, and experiences of energy as negativity, neutrality, and positivity towards all as ourselves. And so through relationships, created ourselves into and as absolute separation as what we exist as now within this physical existence. Heaven, the manifested equal and one living of and as all in and as existence, where each stand equal to and one with all in fact. And so we're all in this living agreement of self-equality and oneness with and as all, equal and one, where each live and we all stand as God, creation manifested into and as absolute equality and oneness, all living, which becomes life rebirthed. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how my judgment day is the moment I accepted and allowed myself to separate me from the whole into and as a singularity, where that very action was my judgment of me and my judgment of and as all as me. That judgment day is not a moment that is to or that will arrive where any other being will judge me, as I am the greatest judge unto myself and unto all as me, as myself. In this, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to externalize Judgment Day into and as a future event with a projected being, not realizing, seeing, understanding that my externalization of Judgment Day and the projected being, God, is in fact me projecting myself and my own actions of judgment towards myself and all as myself, that I've accepted and allowed myself to create, manifest. That Judgment Day is in fact the moment within my existence where I will face myself, my judgment of me and all of me as what I had created and manifested as my creation of and as judgment. In this, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to deliberately externalize myself as God into and as a projected being, deliberately externalized project Judgment Day into and as a future in my deliberate attempt to manipulate myself in not having to face me, my creation, as judge and judgment of and as me and all as me as the manifested consequences I have created as me as judge through and by judgment. In this, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to believe that if I externalize my Judgment Day, the moment of facing me and my creation as me, within myself and existence as me, that I can in such a way manipulate time by waiting for my projected being, God, to judge me on the projected Judgment Day, to in such a way try to postpone having me face myself and my consequence as creation of me and existence as me. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how, in my postponement of facing me as judgment through projecting me as judge into and as a projected being, God, and projecting me as the action of judgment into and as a projected future as Judgment Day, that I had accepted and allowed myself to throughout time in this postponement of me, facing me as all as me, accumulated consequence throughout existence as me, as I continued within and as my accepted and allowed stance as judge, creating through with judgment as my relationship categorization towards myself and all as myself, within and as the energy experiences of and as negativity, neutrality, and positivity, that I had accumulated consequence through perpetuating the creation of me towards all as me in and as separation. In this, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to have become the source, origin, cause of throughout time, throughout my lives, within and as existence, taking the equality and oneness, the substance of and as me as all, and threaded it into as strands of singular lines, relationships into and as me, and reconnected it to and towards all parts of me. Where I was, am taking strands of and as me as substance within the moment of friction, channeling it into and as experiences of and as energy, categorizing it into and as relationships of and as negativity, neutrality, and positivity, and redefining those relationships in relation to individual parts as me within and as existence. In this, becoming the machine that takes substance and threads it into and as individualized relationships, networking me within and without into and as absolute separation, where I had taken the within as me as substance of and as equality and oneness and manifested it into and as absolute separation as the without, as me, as networks of varying relationships within and as the nature of and as negativity, neutrality, and positivity. I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to, as my judge status, creating me and existence as me from substance as equality and oneness into and as relationships of negativity, neutrality, and positivity as energy. Deliberately project me and my creation into and as a future as projected being, God, and projected judgment day, as I secretly within myself wanted, needed, and desired to create, manifest only me as my life, my living, according to my choosing, and in that did not care about any consequence to me or all as me. Because I was creating me, experiencing me, living me, a power that I did not want to give up. In this, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to still within this physical existence as a mind, in and as the human physical body, only exist for me as my life living according to my choosing, not caring about any consequence to me or all as me, because I am creating me, experiencing me, living me, a power that I do not want to give up. And so each on in this physical existence is existing within and as the self-delusion of and as self, as God manifested as our own minds within, which we stand in the position of judge, judging ourselves in relation to all of existence, where the very act of judging is how we're continuing to exist as our own God judge, constantly, continuously creating relationships of separation as negativity, neutrality, and positivity. As we constantly and continuously take from this physical existence substance and transform it into mind energy within ourselves, for ourselves as God judge to continue existing. In this, I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to create, manifest the world system of money as God judge over and of all within and as this physical existence that has taken a life living of its own, where it only exists for itself, money, for its life living as money, circulating according to its choosing and how it created its relationships towards all within and as existence, within and as the categories of and as negativity, neutrality, and positivity to get and has many resources from and of existence in changing, transforming physical existence into and as money for itself, its own survival. Taking this very physical existence and threading it into and as the world system, into and as relationships of and as money, where the world system as money do not have a care, consideration, regard for all life within and as this physical existence, as long as it's creating, evolving itself, experiencing itself as money, circulating and living, surviving as a world system of money. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to, in my accepted and allowed separation from and of all as me, as substance, of and as equality and oneness, as God, creation, life manifest. Reverse me into myself from live to evil, and become the manifestation, D, of evil, evil, as the devil. And in this reversal of me from live to evil, have perceived myself as a God within the context of only me, where instead of me existing as God, life, of and as equality and oneness, creating with what is here through living, I accepted and allowed myself to manifest as me, God, judge, in separation, creating through judgment in the manifestation of relationships of energy as negativity, neutrality, and positivity. In this, I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to create me into an I God, only me, I as God of me, I, where this I God of me, only me, within myself, became the manifestation of an as me as ego, taking I God as I, the individualization, singularity of an as me as I and God, the positioning of me as God, judge, as creator of an as only me within myself, to towards all as me within an as existence, and transforming myself into an as ego. Ego as E, the manifestation merging of I, me into an as energy, and go, the infinite movement cycling of me as energy, constantly and continuously generating friction through separation from experience as energy as me to manifest the finite existence as me as energy alone. In this, I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to create me from God, eternal life, equality and oneness, live, to the absolute reverse as an I God, as I separated me into a delusion of me as God in the form of energy, as I had become energy in the process of separating me from substance. And as this energy, as me within myself, as my singularity had become an I of energy. And in and as this I of an as energy, in and as my delusional positioning as a God judge, manifested me into and as an energy entity as ego manifest, a manifestation of energy, believing it to be its own God, as judge of itself and all as itself, but enslaved itself infinitely to cycling within the process of having to create friction to towards all within existence, to from and through that friction survive as energy, and existing infinitely within and as constant and continuous judgment to towards all as itself, where I had thus accepted and allowed myself to become an ego, finite energy separation, which had become me and has been me throughout time. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to create me from God, eternal life, equality and oneness, live, to ego, finite energy, separation, evil, as I accepted and allowed myself to within myself believe in my own delusion, false impression, as I impressed onto me the false positioning of an as God that has become me as judge, as creator, of an as only me, through judging all as me into an as relationships of an as negativity, neutrality, and positivity. In that falsity of me, I falsified, fabricated me from the fabric of an as existence, as substance, of an as equality and oneness, and weave the networks of relationships of separation to towards all as me, as I channeled substance into me through friction, transforming it into energy and categorizing it into and as relationships of negativity, neutrality, positivity that I interconnected from within me to towards all as me. And so, instead of existing here as equality and oneness, came to motion as energy in constant continuous cycles to generate energy for me, my own survival as God, judge, ego. In this, I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to, in the falsification, fabrication of me into and as energy, as ego, from the fabric of existence as substance of an as equality and oneness, create me into and as the illusion as I transformed substance into energy, that I'd accepted and allowed myself to create illusion as me, as energy, from reality as me, as substance, and throughout time, had believed that I, as the illusion, as energy within myself, is real, and the reality of substance as equality and oneness is the illusion, which still exists today, where human beings believe that this physical existence, substance manifest, is the illusion. But they, as me, have been deluded into an as, our own creation of an as ego, as energy manifest, where I deliberately accepted and allowed myself to make illusion real and reality illusion within and as myself, as my attempt to, for as long as I can survive as energy, make myself believe that it is me that exists infinitely in my finite existence as energy for a moment. But I do, in fact, know, see, realize, and understand that it is reality, substance, the physical that remains, and I, as ego, as energy, come to nothing. That I have within my existence known, seen, realized that I, as ego, as energy manifest, come to an end, cease to exist. But the petrification, fear, dread is too much to bear, as I always, in every lifetime, the moment I rebirth, as I know my birth, I know my death, that my existence is finite. And to distract me from this certain end, death, ceasing of my existence, I, for the moment, while experiencing me as energy, create the delusion within me of myself being the reality and substance, physicality, the illusion. To again, in this way, not have to face the reality of what I had become and done, where I had created me into an as illusion, as energy, within a finite self-existence of survival, with an opportunity to exist only for a moment, to birth and death. Instead of what I had supposed to have been, that this reality, this physical existence as substance is and has always shown me, equality and oneness. And because this physical existence represented what I had abdicated, given up, I would deliberately reprimand it to illusion and make me my own reality. When the fact is, this physical existence is a representation of me as manifested equality and oneness, and it has been too fearful, dreading to face this of and as me. And so instead of me equalizing myself into and as one with this physical existence, I furthermore separated myself from and of it within myself by proclaiming me to be reality and it to be illusion. In this, I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand that whatever I project onto and towards me within and as this existence is in fact me showing myself what I am, have become. And by stating that physical existence is illusion, is in fact me stating my own illusion as me, as what I had become as ego energy. And so only ego as energy will say that this physical existence is illusion, because ego energy as illusion manifest can and will always only see itself. I commit myself to stop my self-separation as existing as an I God, as ego, as energy manifest that had become my mind consciousness system, to assist and support me to stop the illusion as me, as energy, mind, consciousness, and assist and support myself to walk here with and as reality, as that which I had resisted to stand equal to and one with, as the representation of and as equality and oneness, as what I had always supposed to have been, done, become. In this, I commit myself to, through writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application, stop ego as me, through assisting and supporting myself to establish an agreement with me as all as me, to transform my relationships from and of judgment as negativity, neutrality, and positivity to and as equality and oneness, to so stand equal to and one with me and stop creating me in separation of me. Because in this, I see, realize, and understand that if I can create relationships of separation within energy as negativity, neutrality, and positivity, I am more than capable and able to establish my self-agreement and agreement with and as all as me in and as equality and oneness. I realize, see, understand that if I accept and allow myself to continue existing as ego, I will only be illusion and continue living as illusion within and as reality, as physical existence, and contribute to and perpetuate the equal and one illusion as the without, as the world system of money that has become the ego manifested externalization of me that do not consider, regard, care for anything, anyone but its own energy, money. Therefore, I commit myself to, as I walk my process in stopping ego, I, God within, I assist and support myself as all in transforming, changing the world system of money to a system that will consider, regard, and care for all physicality, physical lives in and as equality and oneness. I commit myself to stop existing as a judge, judging myself and existence as me through relationships defined, valued within negativity, neutrality, and positivity, and align myself to stand in and as equality and oneness and transform my starting point towards myself and all as myself from judgment to solutions, where I commit myself to assist and support myself through writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application to stop judgment and establish myself as the living solution through transforming my relationship with me and all from separation to equality and oneness. In me being becoming as establishing myself as the living solution, I commit myself to create, manifest this solution within and as the world as me, by and through transforming the world system from a system that judge all within and as this physical existence based on the amount of profit it can obtain from its own survival, to taking all that the current system consists of and exists as, and establishing solutions for it, where it can stand within considering, regarding, and caring for all within and as this physical existence in and as equality and oneness. I commit myself to transforming myself from an ego energy entity that only survives to a living being that creates, that will so change, transform the world system of money of survival for money to a world system of money that ensures the living of and as each as all within this physical existence in and as equality and oneness.